Hello and many thanks for joining me on Express Update. We are coming to you from our studios here within the Ministerial Enclave. We are also on GoTV, channel 184. I am Peter. Coming up in our stories, Ghana, South Korea signed visa waiver agreement for diplomatic and service passport holders. Also coming up, government secures 120 jobs for Ghanaians evacuated from South Africa. These and many other stories coming up shortly. Please do stay with us. And now the news in detail. Ghana and South Korea have signed a visa waiver agreement for holders of diplomatic and service passports, further strengthening diplomatic ties between the two countries. The agreement, signed by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, marks a significant milestone in more than 50 years of bilateral relations between Ghana and South Korea. Under the new agreement, holders of diplomatic and service passports from both countries will be able to travel between Ghana and South Korea without the requirement of obtaining visas. The Foreign Affairs Ministry says the agreement is expected to enhance official exchanges, deepen cooperation, and facilitate stronger engagement between government and institutions in both nations. Away from that story, 120 job opportunities have been secured for Ghanaians evacuated from South Africa following recent xenophobic attacks targeting foreign nationals. Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa made the announcement via a social media post on Monday, June 1, calling on Ghanaian CEOs and entrepreneurs to support the reintegration effort. According to the ministry, Ghanaian business owners willing to employ the evacuees are encouraged to contact the ministry's delivery unit, headed by Ambassador Alexander Grant in Tracker. This job placement initiative forms part of broader government effort to support the returnees as they rebuild their lives after being repatriated from South Africa. To some more news this evening, Assembly member for the Kaneshie electoral area, Ebenezer Edu, is calling on government to urgently clear major drainage channels to help reduce persistent flooding in Accra. Speaking on Clock TV's program, Life Matters, Mr. Edu noted that while residents regularly clean secondary and tertiary drains within their communities, flooding continues to affect roads, markets, and other public spaces during heavy rains. He believes clearing these major drains will allow rainwater to flow freely and significantly reduce flooding.
I'm very, very glad that I'm here today to change the narratives. Yeah. Because when it rains, where it's flat is the street. That's the main street. That's the K. Buzia High Street. But the community itself doesn't flood. I'm sure they'll open the phone lines and the people will call.
We will open
the community doesn't flood because we have made sure that our tertiary drains and secondary drains are all cleared.
When was that? Since when? Like 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Or
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yes, all the pictures you see there, the one that I was in the house full of flood, was when I was not an assembly member.
Oh, okay.
So that issue now, it's no more there. Where we went, where the flood was, the water was here. Now when it rains there, it's not even here because the drains there are all what? Are all full. When it comes to the condition, they go to the police station. When you open the covers, they're all choked. When it's rain, where do you want the rain to go? Yeah. But as soon as we start doing the distilling regularly, whenever it's rain, it just passes and goes. So as a community, we've taken or made sure that our tertiary and secondary drains are cleared. So we are praying to the government so that at least the primary drains, that's the Gary project that has been happening, that they were distilled and open the drains from First Light to Pamplona. When it's been done, flooding issue, it will be a thing of a past incarnation.
He further called on key stakeholders, including the Ghana National Fire Service and other relevant agencies, to take a more proactive role in maintaining drainage infrastructure before the peak of the rainy season. He stressed that drainage maintenance requires significant financial technical resources and should not be left solely to assembly members.
No, the primary drains, to work on those drains are quite expensive. Yes. Okay. You don't need just manpower. Sometimes you need machines, excavators to do those kind of jobs. If you quite remember, beginning of this year, they started distilling from New Plant at Chimota straight to Pokwasi. Yes, that's the kind of, those drains are the secondary drains that leads to the primary drains. You understand? So the stakeholders involved, that's the NADMO, the fire service, the public health, they should have a timetable. They should know that, okay, 2 months to the rainy season, this is the plan that we have to do. They will all support. We as community members will distill or will work on the primary, and the tertiary, and the secondary drains. Whereas the authorities should work on the primary one, because look at Shangula that they are talking about. That drain is a secondary drain, second-class drain, that links straight to the main streams, you understand? When those drains are choked, that is where the street will flood. The Buniba High Road, whenever it's with cars on that street, that place is, do you know why? Because there is a big drainage there. But the gutter that will link the rain to that drainage is choked. You understand? It is choked. So authorities should sit up. They shouldn't put the blame on assembly members. An assemblyman can't come and distill highways. No. My job is to take care of the communities. That is why even on highways, you don't fix street lights on the highways. It's the urban roads that fix street lights on the highways. We do the fixation of street lights in the residential areas. You understand? So the authorities, the highways, the roads, the water and sanitation, everybody should come together and let's have a plan that at every 3 months before the rainy season, what are we doing? When these measures are put in place, I can assure you, assembly members are really working on because His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has now given us an allowance. So assembly members are working. So they need to also complement what we are doing by making sure that they put measures in place.
The Abose Okai Spare Parts Dealers Association has dismissed claims that rising spare parts prices are contributing to a planned 20% increase in transport fares scheduled to take effect on June 2. Speaking in an interview in Accra, Head of Communications for the association, Techi Ado, said spare parts prices have remained stable in recent months and have not been increased as being suggested by some commercial transport operators.
According to him, the recent appreciation of the Ghana cedi and relative stability in the foreign exchange market have reduced pressure on importers and traders, making claims of widespread price hikes inaccurate. He therefore urged transport operators, including the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, to engage government directly on concerns over operational costs rather than attributing the purpose fare increase to spare parts dealers. The association's comment comes as section of commercial transport operators prepare to increase fare by 20% from June 2nd, citing rising fuel and vehicle maintenance costs.
On to our last story, hundreds of residents in Kenya's Laikipia County have staged protests against plans to establish an Ebola quarantine center for United States nationals exposed to the virus. Protesters argue that Kenya's healthcare system may not be adequately equipped to manage the risk associated with handling Ebola cases. Kenya has not recorded any Ebola cases linked to the current outbreak. Nevertheless, health authorities remain on high alert as neighboring countries continue to monitor the situation closely. We will continue to follow developments and bring you updates as the story unfolds. And that's how we wrap up on Express Update this evening. Thank you for sticking and staying with us. I'm Peter Insia. Remember, the news keeps changing every day, but integrity must never change. Do enjoy the rest of our program.